Welcome to the kitchen with, oh, Tashi, here we go. Oh, I've got a new friend. This is Tashi, Bertie's girlfriend, Bertie, and Marjorie Orr. Oh,
Tashi's owner, the little pest.
Very nice to have you with us, whoever and wherever you may be. We've got family, we've got dogs, we've got friends.
Children.
Children, yes.
And no musicians.
No musicians, but that has never stopped us in the past. So Ahhhhhcapella, Astrology.
Astrology. In the week of the solar eclipse.
So we need to find out what a solar eclipse is. That's in a moment or two because people are just joining us. Genevieve knows what a solar eclipse is. Oh, excellent. Right, hang on, come on in. Come on in.
I may not remember the exact same words, but like a solar eclipse is when the moon, like there's like lots of phases of the moon, and eclipse is when.
Hang on, she's explaining.
I think it's when like the sun covers the moon, or
Yeah, the sun gets blocked out.
Yeah, the sun's like just completely covered by the moon or something.
And birds stop singing.
And birds stop singing.
It gets very dark and rather eerie. Have you seen one before?
Well, probably, but I just can't.
Yeah,
remember.
well, the last, you get different kinds of eclipses. Some are total solar eclipses, which this one is, and we haven't had one since 1999, and you weren't here then. But so this is the first major one, but you have to watch when you're seeing it. It's about 7 o'clock on Wednesday, so looking up at the sun is not good because it fries your eyeballs, basically.
So you get special glasses.
Or look at it through a cauldron. I get one of these kitchen.
Oh yes.
Well, I wouldn't look at it
No,
at all,
don't,
frankly.
no, you've got to be very careful.
Yeah,
But we'll talk about the significance of the eclipse shortly. And I believe Scotland is going to be one of the best places, or is that right? Or?
yes, it starts in Siberia. Do you have any people watching in Siberia?
No, not that I know of. Unless, is there anyone in Siberia watching? Because if there is...
Comment if you are.
It starts there and goes down through Iceland and then down across us. It's a semicircle to Portugal and Spain.
Right. Yeah. So it goes in a semicircle.
Yeah, it curves. Well, the Earth is curved.
Of course. Why would I not even think that? But does it go in a semicircle sort of clockwise?
That way.
Anti-clockwise?
Yeah.
You learn, you don't need music on this program. This is a podcast this week. We are a podcast, which is very nice. The golfer is making himself something to eat. There will be a sandwich or something. Now, I think before we go into the eclipses, and welcome to everybody coming, and I might ask somebody to read what the comments are shortly. Oh, Anne Houston is watching. Hello, and Mary and Graham are watching, and so are lots of other people that I haven't been able to catch immediately. Marjorie, we're going to talk later about why is astrology important. A lot of people just think it's star signs in a newspaper, but what you ever think while I think what I might warble for a minute?
Yeah.
I might warble something to do with the sun or the moon. Maybe I'll do something to do with the moon because
you're Cancer.
I am a
You're
Cancerian.
ruled by the moon.
I am ruled by the moon. So let me think of a song by the moon. We're so used to doing this kitchen concert on a Monday that none of us are embarrassed about anything. Nobody pays any attention in this house. The golfer absolutely couldn't care less. Would you like me to sing Moon River to you?
Yeah, I know.
Did you hear that enthusiasm?
It's all an act, this indifference.
Oh, Moon River, wider than a mile, I'm crossing you in style someday. You dream maker, you heartbreaker, wherever you're going, There's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rainbow's end, waiting round the bend, my huckleberry friend, river and me. Well, that's enough of that. So tell me about the moon, Marjorie. Why is the moon well, of course, we're lunar.
Well, it rules the tides. I mean, it is actually very important because it's the thing closest to the Earth, so it pulls the tides in and out, which is why Cancers are quite moody.
Me? Moody?
But also
Connolly,
tuned
would you say I was
into
moody?
the public pulse.
Yes.
Would you say I was moody?
No.
Thank you.
A lot of Cancerians are very moody. But anyway, never forget that bit. They're also quite, they don't like being criticised, Cancers.
That's true.
Quite defensive. But I'm Virgo, and of course we can always wham back because we are far too wordy.
But who does like being criticised? I mean, you could probably say that about every sign.
No, and sometimes just, I mean, Geminis couldn't care less.
Thank you.
But to go back to the original question, where astrology they think started, who would know? The Sumerians lived in what is now Baghdad about 5000 BC. And of course, if you're a peasant and you're living in the desert, and the stars in the desert with no neon lights to get in the way, are wonderful. And of course, you're powerless as you are in those situations, those kind of people. So they look up, and the stars become very important to them. And they had the most wonderful calculators, and don't ask me how, because they didn't have computers in those days. They worked out an eclipse cycle that was 18.5 years. It's not, once a year it comes around. So they did a lot to develop it, and then every civilization, Greek, Roman, whatever, picked it up. The Arab civilization from the Crusaders' time did a huge amount with astrology, and then it came back into Europe, and it developed and developed until science reared its head and said, what a lot of nonsense the whole thing is. So there's been a fight ever since about the 17th century between those who think it's nonsense and 90% of the rest of the population who think, wonder what's on what's my column saying this morning.
Well, we're human, and we're all different, and every single star sign is an amalgam of many different facets. And I think, is that not what makes us all really interesting? Because you're very interesting in how you studied psychology, so you're interested in the way the mind works.
Yeah, well, that was why I started doing astrology, because it told me about people. I never really understood people before then, and I looked at this and thought, what a useful way in. Now, it won't tell you everything about people. It's not like clairvoyance. It's not quite as invasive as that. But it won't tell you what people live out, because people often don't live out most of themselves. The most successful people live out their full potential, but most people kind of puddle along, and at the end of their lives they think, I wish I'd done this and I wish I'd done that. Had they gone to an astrologer halfway through, they'd have had a sharp elbow in the ribs to ask them, why are you... I remember one woman years ago came to me and she said, I'm really not happy, and she said, I'm an accountant. I had never seen a chart less like an accountant's chart in my life. And I said, why are you not doing this, this and this? And she said, they're all hobbies. And I said, get out there and live who you are. And I think that's one of the great strengths of astrology, is not saying you can climb Mount Everest or win at Wimbledon. It's saying, understand who you are and make the best of it. So, I mean, it's good for you from that point of view.
Excellent. Well, I know that there are some questions coming flying in. Now, this is more about tomorrow. So, looking forward to seeing you all, Fiona. How about my birthday sign, 19th of March? Oh, this is Phyllis Grant. So she's wondering about herself and her birth sign, which would be what, Pisces?
Pisces. My sister was born on the 18th of March. Now, Pisces, well, like all signs, is interesting because it's got two signs. the big fish and the little fish if you watch the symbol. And Pisces can be a dreamer, it can be vague, but it can also be Rupert Murdoch. You know, so businessmen who are visionary, as long as they've got a practical sidekick, can make it work. And explorers, oddly enough, are Pisces. So Pisces wants to move into the far horizon. For women, I think one of the problems of being Pisces, they're too open to other people's problems. They soak in the pain of the world, if you like. So they need to protect themselves. But they're an emotional sign and they need to be self-protective basically. But very creative, musical people, a lot of musical people are Pisces, and film people.
But I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Again, that's right.
Because I'm a musical person, but I'm not a Pisces.
Yeah.
So, and I know lots of musicians and lots of singers, and we will all be different signs. But
Yeah.
does it just mean that there are more people that are by birth more musical, or they're?
Well, this is where it gets complicated. It depends what time of day you were born, and therefore it puts planets in different houses. What we call houses, 12 divisions around the chart. So if you've got a strong 5th house, you're a performer, you know, you're a Leo type personality. You're out there attention grabbing. So everyone will have their own different kind of take on music, and some people are just plain creative. So it's not just about being musical, it's about having the ability to imagine. I always think of T.E. Lawrence in The Desert, and that wonderful saying of his that the dreamers of the day are dangerous men because they get out there and make it happen. Now, he was talking in political terms, but in creative terms, the dreamers get out there and make their dreams real in music and art and films.
So someone who we both know is very creative and musical and artistic is Billy Connolly, world-renowned Billy Connolly, and it was just announced recently that there's going to be an exhibition, I think, at Kelvin Grove Gallery. So before I ask you about Billy, there's a wee song that I love of Billy's.
Oh, good.
Which is called Last Train to Glasgow Central. I don't know if you know this one, but it's fun. Last train to Glasgow Central, last train to Glasgow Central. You better catch this one, and you better have a ticket, 'cause here's the man. Biddy biddy bum bum to Glasgow Central. We had a great time, you couldn't whack it. Spent all my money and pawned my jacket, and on the train get home, I was hiding in the lobby when the ticket man came. Beady beady bum bum to Glasgow Central. Last train to Glasgow Central. Last train to Glasgow Central. You better catch this one, and you better have a ticket, 'cause here's the man. Biddy biddy bum bum to Glasgow Central. Did you ever hear Connolly singing this?
I saw him, I think, in his first, well, I saw a very early stage performance in the Empire, and I was working with Scottish Television when he did his first live television show, and the managing director, bless him, who is no longer with us, who was model rearmament, was having kittens at what was going to come out of that. And he was very funny. That was David Bell who put him on, and he was a lovely, lovely man.
Which was a risk at the time, because my dad, I think, toured with Billy in America and Canada. I think they played the Carnegie Hall, and they did all sorts of great places. And my dad just said the combination of Dad, Moira Anderson and Billy Connolly for the Scots living abroad was something else. And actually there may be viewers out there who went to the Carnegie Hall in New York and saw that magnificent trio of Callum Kennedy, Moira Anderson and Billy Connolly. Oh. So Billy is a remarkable man in anybody's book.
He's Gemini.
Or is he Gemini?
Would you believe he's
another Gemini?
He's very Gemini. He's take it all back. He's Sagittarius. He's got a moon in Gemini. But no, well, he is Sagittarius, and his wife Pamela is a Sagittarian, and that must be a noisy household. Sagittarius are very outspoken and fiery and adventurous and having fun. No, he's got a Gemini moon, which is restless. She, luckily, Pamela, has a Taurus moon, so she's steady. She keeps life on an even keel, because he, you know what he's like, he gets quite excitable about things. But he's...
But that's part, isn't that part of the joy of him, that sort of mischief? One of the books that he wrote, I think, is it called Windswept and Interesting or something? I mean, it's such a funny book. It's a series of stories, really.
Yeah.
And he actually, well, you probably all know this anyway, he is as funny in the written word, just about. One of the things I love about him is that he laughs about his own stories and jokes before he even tells them. And there's something that's really, Kevin Bridges sort of does that as well, which is that sort of infectiousness.
Oh, he's lovely, he's wonderful, but what in a way is quite interesting, he had a very tough childhood. And it may be that the humour comes out of trying to deflect, because he's got what we call a Mars-Pluto square. He's got Mars and Scorpio. I was looking at one or two comedians. There's quite an edge with Mars and Scorpio, and comedians need that sort of, you know, they need to hit home at times. But Gemini also is a mischief maker. It's a trickster. And
eyebrows raised over there.
And the jokers, the jesters in the king's court in long ago were the only ones to tell the king the truth, but they couldn't tell it directly because the king sulked and chopped your head off if he didn't like what you said. So the jester had to wrap it up in riddles and jokes. And I think that's one of the things that comedians do, and particularly Gemini comedians do particularly well. But he's got a very successful chart, which is lovely given his background. You know, I mean, he came out of quite obviously a
it was
poor
shipyards of Glasgow, Anderson. No, I think he had a very, very tough. But nearly everyone in Glasgow is a comedian. And the marvellous thing about Glasgow, and that's why a lot of comedians will go and try out material there, because if you do well in Glasgow, and if you're funny in Glasgow, you're funny anywhere, because usually the audience is funnier than whoever is on stage.
Oh, well, yeah.
Which is
and they don't half let you know. I remember those.
So, Billy, is that the typical Sagittarian then? That sort of
it's very outgoing Sagittarius, very outspoken. I mean, you know, you don't want to be thin-skinned around a Sagittarian friend. But it's also very knowledgeable Sagittarius, and it heals people.
Can you? It's okay. It's okay. It's just
dog stand up.
It's okay. Be good, Roxy. It's just starting. So. Oh, here we are.
He's Leo. Just having a sun, Mars and Leo. Even that.
We're just. Here's Tashi wants to see you as well.
Such a cutie.
She is a cutie. So we're just talking about something that you probably don't know anything about, which is astrology and star signs. But because you've just had a birthday on the 29th.
Yeah, I'm a Leo.
Yeah, he's very
He knows he's a Leo. And what does that mean?
Leos love attention. They're performers, entertainers. Some of them are quite good speculators in the financial sphere. But they need to be told they're wonderful.
You're wonderful. You are wonderful.
I agree.
Well, let's think of a little something, a little ditty for a Leo. Now, most nights, a little song. I was thinking if I did.
Don't make me sing.
No, I won't make you. No, I won't. What do I like to sing you at night time?
Oh no, not on.
Not
live.
Will I not? Or will I sing Tiddlywinky Woo?
No, no, no.
Uh,
That's the most embarrassing.
oh, that's the most embarrassing one. How about How I Love My Two Little Fishes?
No, I don't have any.
I know, but it's My Little Fishes.
You don't have any either.
In songs, you can sing whatever you like.
What if the
How
other
about-
person doesn't have
How about Close Your Eyes,
No.
Go to Sleep,
No.
No,
Little
no
one.
chance.
Leos love attention. They love being told they're wonderful.
Yeah.
And often inside they're a lot more insecure than they give the appearance of being. So they need propping up, their self-esteem needs propping up. But that's why they're very good at getting out on stage and being the great performer.
Oh, a great performer.
I am very good at
I saw you be the snake, part of the snake in the Jungle
Oh,
Book.
why do you keep saying these stuff live?
Well, it was very good. I saw your legs and I heard your 4 lines.
Yeah, my legs. How important.
It was very important. I was very proud. I'm allowed to be proud. I'm allowed. Okay, so there's a lady here and I just want to ask you, Sterling, maybe to read the name.
Oh, okay.
If you
Can
can.
I read a speech?
Well, no, it's not a speech, but it was just, there was a couple of requests. Now, this lady is called
Elma McCougan.
Magoogan, and she said,
Hello, looking forward to seeing you all. It's my birthday. Tomorrow, maybe
Marjorie
Marjorie
will tell
will
tell my...
will tell my future.
Well, Marjorie's not clairvoyant, so she doesn't tell futures, but you tell...
Oh,
Past?
you can be
More about the
reasonably good about the
character.
future, but it isn't like clairvoyance. I mean, it's not. You don't
No.
get little visions,
No.
which I'm very pleased about. And I've known 1 or 2 very good clairvoyants, and they say it's a bit of a burden, you know, this kind of being able to see things that you really would much prefer not to see. But no, it gives you a useful view of what influences are coming up. And sometimes it's very accurate in the sense that you get a nudge in the ribs that you didn't want. And sometimes it just gives you a hint of the way you could use what's coming up to make the most of what's happening in future. And it's not that everybody takes advice.
No.
There's people who don't take advice, but for the people who come and who really want to know where they're at and what's coming up,
Yeah.
it can be very useful. Not very useful for the astrologer if what's coming up isn't nice.
Well, speaking of that, I'll do something a little bit up-tempo because
Yes.
I'm interested also, as I know Marjorie is, in the dynamics of a family. And I think there's been a lot in the press about the Beckhams, the Petties, lots... Brad Pitt and Angelina
For sure.
Jolie. And it'll be interesting to know what. But I'll do something that's a bit more up-tempo and Gaelic,
Yeah.
because that's my family background. So, Samna Neela 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 Samna Neela Rukami Samna Neela 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 Samna Neela Voya Samna Neela 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 Samna Neela Rukami Samna Neela 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 Samna Neela Voya Samna Neela Garamanyara Rukami Sahokami Samna Neela Garamanyara Rukami Savami Samna Neela Garamanyara Rukami Sahokami Samna Neela Garamanyara Rukami Savami Samna Neela 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 Samna Neela Rukami Samna Neela 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 Samna Neela Voya Samna Neela 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 Samna Neela Rukami Samna Neela 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 Samna Neela Voya and Namiga comes just about the book in his name. Namiga comes just about the book in his name. Namiga comes just about the book in his name. Diga man över är så grövig strand. Humilja, hokenja, hokenja så namn. Humilja, hokenja, hokenja så namn. Humilja, hokenja, hokenja så namn. Diga man över är så grövig strand.
What language is that?
That language is Gaelic. And your great-grandpa, Callum, and great-grandma Anne,
And your
and your great-great-uncle Alistair Gillis and Aunt Angela, they all speak Gaelic. And it's a Scottish language that dates back centuries and centuries. And there's some beautiful music.
It sounded like Croatian or
Well, it could.
Siberian.
Well, it could be. You know, there's links with Croatia, links with Siberia, links with the Carolinas, and the rhythms, links with Africa. But it's amazing, all these different languages. And
So even Africa.
even Africa. When I went to Africa,
Wow.
they were.
Fun fact.
Oh, well, okay, that was interesting for about a minute. So we were talking before then about the dynamics of families. So we've got a lot in the press, and I do feel sorry for the focus on families when clearly something isn't going well, because it probably is bad enough within the family, just dealing with it within the family, never mind having the world's press focusing on it.
Well, I think it's true. I would tend to say as a journalist, ex-journalist, that if you step into the public arena, you kind of, it's the price you pay in a sense. And the Beckhams in particular have made an industry out of social media. So, you know, if it kicks back once in a while, well, that's just it. But I mean, you are sorry for them because
Oh, darling, could you go and maybe take dogs out, sweetheart?
I've already done it.
I know, but they're going to be barking and throwing a bowl and stuff. So we're talking. Keep going, Marjorie. You don't see what's going on in the background, but anyway.
and I think, stop it. But we were having quite an interesting discussion on
Why don't you?
on the website, my website this week, about families, the whole. Sorry, I would let her go, but she's an escaper, and if she's out the door, she's down the track, and that's her. No,
Stay.
behave.
Good girl.
You find in some families that they're more or less all the same sign, or they've got moon sign crossovers. But you get some families that are really stubborn, and you think, how on earth they get on with Scorpios and Taurus and Leo, and you think, the Beckhams are kind of different. I mean, David Beckham is Taurus, so he's sort of steady-ish.
Well, the Queen was Taurus. Well, Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah. And her Philip was Gemini. And oddly enough, you would not think that Gemini and Taurus get on, but Gunter Sachs did a survey years ago and discovered that, in fact, it's one of the commonest marriages that sticks it out, because the Taurus is very solid, and no matter what, the Gemini kind of flits about. So it works remarkably well. He's Taurus. Victoria Beckham is Aries, which is a bit flightier in terms of just excitability. And poor little Brooklyn, what a name, is a Pisces, which kind of doesn't fit either of them terribly well. And I think, oddly enough, it's his father he doesn't get on with, because not everybody gets on with everybody. And there's going to be cross currents just because you happen to be born with your moon and what's it. And
Well, also I suppose it depends who their partner is, and the dynamic then changes again with a daughter-in-law or a son-in-law, because even if families have been very close, sometimes that's quite a hurdle for a new person, even if it's the love of someone's life, to come into a family that's very strong, with a very strong work ethic and a very strong public
well,
face.
that is one scenario. I think what we were looking at this week is completely the opposite scenario. They have picked very difficult partners, coming out of a difficult hothouse family, but it was very enmeshed, into, because Nicola Peltz, bless her, is not the easiest of ladies from Brooklyn, and her father's delightful man, tricky. And Adam Peaty has married into the Ramsay family, which is also quite a close family. So it's interesting that they have picked difficulties where their spouse is concerned in an effort to escape what they felt was not doing them a lot of good. But
Or maybe it's the law of attraction. It's what you know.
It's what you know. But also, I think what is a shame in terms of publicity is that all of us have gone through ghastly periods when we were in our 20s. And actually, once you get through middle life, you kind of mellow and realise your parents are what they are, and they are what their parents were, you know, and everybody has their crosses to bear, so you mellow a bit. But at that age, you're kind of rampaging, and you know, you want to be free,
Yeah.
you know, and be your own person, which in a very hothouse family is tricky. And with Adam Peaty, his mother gave up her life to make him a big Olympic swimmer, and it would be difficult for her to let go once he, you know, gets.
That
to
just
the
seems terribly sad.
I know
It all seems
is.
terribly sad because we are but little specks of sand in the whole of all of this, and you just think how sad that all
They
these
may
things
come back.
unravel.
I mean, sometimes you find with celebrities who fall out with their parents, you know, after years and years, they may come back together again. But I think that the saddest of it is the Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie thing. She is very difficult, terrible childhood. She's an Aries, Moon, Pluto, Mars, and poor soul, I don't know what, he's not got that difficult, he's a Sagittarius, he's not got that difficult a chart, but he picked Jennifer Aniston first of all, who's marginally easier for him because she's her moon fitted his chart, but both of them are quite tricky ladies. And Angelina Jolie has just split the children away completely.
But don't some people just enjoy tricky partners? That's actually part of the whole law of attraction again. That they may not wish to be bored, or they may want somebody that, you know, is challenging, or
until it falls apart, and then it turns very nasty indeed. If you can keep it going, yes. No, somebody on the website this week said they had noticed their patterns in the past. They needed a bit of danger. They needed to be on the edge, but that's lovely up to a certain extent, and then when it splits, if it does split.
And then it's a shame, particularly for the Jolie Pitts or not so Jolie Pitts. You know, the rainbow family of, you know, 3 of their own children, 3 adopted children, and that sort of Madonna also, she a sort of similar thing where you're actually taking on an awful lot with a mega star type career to have children plunged into that.
Oh yes, because
that's going to be difficult for them.
It's difficult for the children, but I think, I mean, I wouldn't wish to be negative about adopting children, but when you do adopt children, I think people don't take on board the background they come from. And I used to work broadly in the abuse field, and even with skilled social working parents, adoptive parents, you've got a real job in your hands to kind of keep the thing steady. And of course, being a big celebrity family, you don't have that. So you've got children from backgrounds which are traumatized very often, and it's not easy for them to settle. I mean, childhood's not easy for anyone, but particularly for them.
I wondered, and I don't know, I mean, you have a view, the Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman, that sort of scenario as well, where there's something else like Scientology or whatever, you know, involved. That's
well, yes, we were discussing that. It's a shame. Tom Cruise is a very talented actor, and he's a Cancerian. You would think he'd be very family oriented. It's not really known how much contact he's had with Suri, the daughter with his last wife, Katie Holmes. There didn't seem to have been much contact, which is odd. And he said at the divorce it was because to protect her from Scientologies. And that is a whole other discussion we don't really want to get into. But it is a shame when, you know, these kind of split families. But America is much more used to them, you know, because everybody gets divorced and remarried and blended families and then, you know, split. And the kids must get used to it, I suppose, at some point along the way, whereas we're maybe less used to it over here. But what I was looking at in terms of hothouse families, what's interesting when one escapes, as it were. Now, they're either scapegoated out or they just think, I've had enough and I'm going in my 20s. Is what it is that they carry with them from the family. It's almost as if you've got an enmeshed family who are all busy trying to fit in with each other, but underneath there's a bubbling, I want to be free, I want to be off there doing my thing. And there's one that picks all that energy up and goes, right, I'm off. So it's not just their temperament that makes them go, it's something in the family that doesn't allow them to suppress all their energy. Families are tricky because you can't hold them together if everyone's being wildly individualistic. Well, you used to. But it takes quite an effort to hold them together when they're all very different. With most families, you have to toe the line. And that's what causes the problems, because some of them, like Brooklyn, just decided he'd had enough. Or, you know, get with the Brad Pitt situation. He was saying in the Daily Mail today, if one believes the Daily Mail, you know, that it really has hurt him, you know, because 3 of them are his children and 3 are adopted. But what would we do without celebrities to invade their lives and poke our
I don't think that we said a proper happy birthday to Elma McGugan, and as it's her birthday tomorrow, but happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Elma, happy birthday to you. So tomorrow is your birthday. She was wondering, in terms of her star sign and situation,
aren't you lucky? Happy birthday, right on the solar eclipse. Now, in the old days, solar eclipses were regarded with a degree of fear as disastrous. But in fact, the modern view of solar eclipses is they're a challenge. You've got to change. You've got to look at your life and think, what can I do that is going to give me more fulfillment, more satisfaction, and make the effort to do it. Now, most of us go, oh, yawn, yawn, who needs change? What we need is stability and the same.
peace.
But an eclipse hits you on your birthday, you've got to make up the effort to get out there and look at your life in a kind of positive way and see what you can do. And you've got Jupiter in your own sign at the moment, which is great because Jupiter is lucky and confident and enthusiastic and is going to be there till the middle of next year. So go for it. Whatever you've pushed into the background is, I can't possibly do that. Go out there and do it.
Elma, write back and tell us what you're going to go out and do. And I think that's what you sort of have often said to me, that astrology is a bit of a roadmap. You can go 3 different ways to Stonehaven from here, but which road do you choose on which particular day? And in a way that's oversimplifying astrology, but it's for the astrologer to say, well, here's the roadmap, and you may choose to do it or you may choose not to. It's free will.
There's not, well,
No?
there's a balance between free will and fate, and sometimes fate just takes over and whacks you in the elbow. So you can't avoid fate sometimes.
No.
Life is complicated, I think, that there's no one simple way of doing anything. Astrology will certainly guide you and give you a steer as to what makes sense. But as I said earlier, a lot of people don't take advice, but they probably would never go to an astrologer anyway. And I always think that when you need to go to an astrologer is when you really want the answer and you don't care what it is. You know, when you've got to that stage of, I don't understand why I keep going round in the same circles, making the same mistakes, falling in the same sinkhole, and I want to stop it. Astrology is hugely useful in that circumstance because it says,
So
okay, your responsibility, pick yourself up, stop doing that, look at that, why is that happening?
So for any viewers who are watching right now, if they're feeling right, I mean, because we don't normally do sort of this sort of podcasty thing, but they can easily get in touch with you, Marjorie.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And you will certainly look at charts and things and
On the website,
so you just find Marjorie Orr online.
Online, yeah.
And write and you will reply.
Yeah.
It's as easy as that. I'm going to say hello to somebody up here. Let me see. I'll just get that out of the way so I can read. Hello, Bell Park. And Marge, another Marjorie, Marge Bremner is watching. before we go in sort of a few minutes' time, if anyone's got a special question to ask Marjorie, I don't know if the golfer's got a clue. Avril Leach is watching. Hello, Avril. Lovely to have you with us. And Deirdre is watching, my sister. Deirdre Kennedy is watching. Hi, Dee. She's a Scorpio. Do you want to say anything about Scorpios?
I've got a word.
Oh.
Miracle makers of the Zodiac are Scorpios. Once Scorpio sets its mind to something, it happens. It can be a bit tricky, mind you.
Dave Dixon is watching, and Sheena Howison is watching. And I wonder, Sheena, if you know the answer to the clue, which is?
Oblation.
Oblation. O-B-L-A-T-I-O-N? What does it mean? He's doing the crossword. What does ablation mean? What does it mean? Thank you, ladies, for an interesting evening. Take care. Thank you. And Pam Dignan, lovely Pam Dignan, who's a fantastic Scottish country dancer, has a wonderful school of dancing. And of course, we're right in the season, Pam, aren't we, for Highland dancing. So I hope your school's doing well and the children are doing well. Elma, happy birthday tomorrow. It's lovely to have you with us. And I know that Jimmy Guild and Vi and Mike Thorning. And I wanted to say belated happy birthday yesterday to a dear friend, Martin Jover-Stainer, who, of course, we go back so many years to Glasgow days, and Avril is watching. Sort of wrapping up, Marjorie, if there was sort of, is there something that is common to all of us, to all the star signs, where you would say, you know, if an astrologer was to give you a piece of advice, is there anything that you can say, well, yes, we're all different, but here's the crux of the matter?
Well, there are two ways of doing astrology. One is looking at what personal charts. The other is looking at the global, not political global, but you know, generally what's happening up there. And at the moment, there is a huge shift of what we call the outer planets, which are the major ones, into new signs. And it's almost like, I keep saying tectonic plates shifting. The ground is moving out from under our feet. And most of us don't like change. So when things begin to change, everyone gets uncertain, particularly in the middle patch, and that's where we're at the moment. Everything is shifting around and nobody quite knows what's coming next. So you get people splitting into, it's going to be paradise, and the rest of them saying, no, it's the end of times. So you need to kind of, what the astrologer can do, and I can't say all of them do on the social media, is keep calm and carry on. And the eclipse, mercifully, this one, carry themes. And what this one says for the next 6 months is that problems which seem to have no solution suddenly become solvable. Please, please.
So that's good news.
That's
that's
good news.
That's positive.
The earlier one from March was not as much fun in February. It was, you know, slog on time. Whereas this one is definitely, and the themes of the eclipses do seem to hold general, you know, sense for everyone. But obviously some signs will be more affected. Uranus moved into Gemini, so Geminis are all hyped up at the moment, we've noticed.
I've got to get the answer to the clue. Ablation? But let's see, did anyone get an answer, any answers to ablation? Elma, look it up quick. Ablation, what does it mean? Does anybody know? What about Anne Houston? Pat Lunardi, do you know what ablation means? Because that is the golfer's clue. Normally, Anne Houston in Tain is right onto this. Jean McCraw they're all busy. I can sense that they're looking, Googling. Do you know what ablation means?
No, what I would connect it to, and I'm probably very wrong, is something to do with the heart. It's not like a stent,
No,
it's a kind of...
No, not
It's
a stent.
It's a religious offering.
Oh, ablation, is it? Oh, I'm wrong.
Well, the golfer is going to tell us it's a religious offering. I did not know that. I thought that was called a collection. But that
Well, that's the minor church.
That's
It's
a-
a
yes.
proper church.
It's a-
Place.
Catherine is saying something. Thank you for a lovely evening. I'm a Capricorn.
Oh, wow, wow.
And Sharon is saying thank you. They're all coming in fast and furious. A solemn offering. It's a solemn
Yes,
offering.
yeah.
Thank you, Anne. It is a solemn. And Maureen Noble is watching. And Elizabeth Lissamore McGilvery is watching. I don't know if you're coming up to the concert at the Tivoli on the 16th of October, but I hope you can come. I'm going to sing, just to close off, well, it has the word sun in it. It's not very astrological, but it is one of the all-time great Scottish songs. By yon bonny banks and by yon bonny braes, where the sun shines bright on Loch Lomond, where me and my true love will never meet again, on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. So ye'll tak the high road, and I'll tak the low road, and I'll be in Scotland afore ye, where me and my true love will never meet again, on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. There we go. Marjorie Orr, everybody, who's not singing at all, but fascinating. I'm sure you all agree. And it's marvellous to do something a bit different, because Marjorie comes down from her place up the road most Mondays to sit and be the
And
audience.
clap, yes. And it's very nice because I don't have to do anything.
But thank you for joining us. Next week we have Irene Watt coming along. The week after that we've got Laura Pike and the Friends of Anchor Patient Choir. Very much looking forward. 30 people in the kitchen. It's never dull. So we've got a busy month ahead and look forward to you joining us. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.